Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine a humid summer night in rural Japan. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and distant rice paddies. A lone farmer, making his way home along a winding riverbank, sees something that stops him dead in his tracks. A small, childlike figure, hunched over by the water's edge, seemingly engrossed in something in the murky depths. He calls out, a friendly offer of a ride home, but the figure doesn't answer. Instead, with an unnatural agility, it springs up, revealing webbed hands and feet, a slick, green body, and a strange, bowl-like indentation on its head. It plunges into the river, disappearing with barely a ripple, leaving the farmer paralyzed, not by fear, but by the chilling certainty of what he just witnessed. Kappa. For centuries, this cryptid has haunted the rivers and lakes of Japan, a mischievous water goblin with a taste for cucumbers, sumo wrestling, and according to some chilling accounts, something far more sinister. But what if these weren't just folklore? What if the echoes of these tales, the ancient warnings, the persistent sightings, were pointing to something real? Today, we delve into the legend of the Kappa hand, an artifact whispered to be proof that these mythical beasts, these river children, walked among us. Tangible evidence exists, locked away in temples and private collections, that reveals the shocking truth. We're not just talking about old stories. We're talking about alleged physical remains that could shatter our understanding of the natural world and confirm the existence of a creature straight out of legend. Stay with us, because the revelations we're about to uncover will challenge everything you thought you knew about Japanese folklore and the thin veil between myth and reality. The mystery of the Kappa hand is more intricate, more compelling, and far more unsettling than any legend could prepare you for. Part 2. Setting the stage picture ancient Japan, a landscape woven with deep forests, towering mountains, and countless rivers, streams, and tranquil ponds. For the people who lived here, these waterways were both life-giving and terrifying. They provided sustenance, irrigation for their rice fields, and a means of travel. But they also held hidden dangers. Treacherous currents, sudden floods, and the ever-present threat of drowning. It was from this potent mix of reverence and fear that the legend of the Kappa was born. The word Kappa itself translates to river child. It's a name that conjures an image of innocence, but the reality of the creature it describes is anything but. Kappa are one of Japan's most famous yakai, a class of supernatural entities encompassing monsters, spirits, and demons that inhabit the land, rivers, and forests. Their origins are believed to stretch back to ancient times, possibly even as far as the 8th century, with mentions in texts like the Nihon Shoki *, Japan's second oldest book of classical history, which speaks of water spirits. Some theories suggest they might be inspired by sightings of the Japanese giant salamander, or Hanzaki *, an aggressive amphibian known to lurk in rivers. Others point to influences from Chinese or Ainu folklore. But it was during the Edo period, from 1603 to 1867, that the Kappa truly became ingrained in the collective consciousness. He appeared in kabuki theater, in ukiyo-e woodblock prints, and countless oral traditions. Their image solidified. A creature roughly the size of a human child, with green or blue-green scaly or slimy skin, webbed hands and feet, a turtle-like carapace on its back, and a beak-like mouth. But the most iconic, the most unsettling feature is the Sarah *, a smooth, water-filled dish on top of its head. This dish, legend says, is the source of the Kappa's immense strength and life force. If the water spills, the Kappa becomes severely weakened, losing its supernatural powers, and can even die. For centuries, parents would tell their children cautionary tales of the Kappa, warning them to stay away from dangerous rivers and ponds. These weren't just scary stories, they were vital lessons in water safety. The Kappa were often depicted as dangerous predators, luring people, especially children, into the water, dragging them beneath the surface, and in the most gruesome accounts, even devouring their internal organs or extracting a mythical ball called the Shirikodama * from their anus, said to contain the soul. But the Kappa was not always purely malevolent. They were complex beings. Legends also describe them as highly intelligent, possessing knowledge of medicine, and even teaching humans the art of bone-sitting. They were obsessed with politeness. A deep bow from a human would compel a Kappa to return the gesture, spilling the water from its head and rendering it powerless. Offerings of cucumbers, their favorite food, were believed to appease them, a practice so ingrained that cucumber sushi rolls are still called *kappamaki. These dualities, trickster and predator, helpful spirit and malevolent demon, made the Kappa a compelling and terrifying figure, deeply woven into the fabric of Japanese society. But how much of this was myth, and how much was a distorted memory of something far more tangible? Could a creature with webbed hands and a powerful grip, capable of dragging victims to a watery grave, have once existed? The very idea is enough to send a shiver down your spine. Part 3. The deep investigation * the line between cautionary tale and chilling reality blurs when we examine the myriad eyewitness accounts. These aren't just vague rumors. Some are detailed narratives passed down through generations, stories told with the conviction of personal experience. One of the earliest and most disturbing accounts dates back to the early 19th century. In 1801, a farmer in the Fukui prefecture allegedly captured a kappa. Think about that for a moment. Captured asterisk. Not merely glimpsed, but subdued. The details are scarce, but the story suggests the creature was brought before a local lord, who, rather than studying it, ordered its release back into the river. Why? Was it fear? Reverence? Or perhaps a deep understanding of the delicate balance between humanity and the unknown forces inhabiting their world? This tantalizing report suggests more than just folklore. It speaks of a physical encounter, a direct interaction with something undeniably other. Fast forward to 1818, and another incident, this one from Miyakanijo in the Miyazaki prefecture, takes a darker turn. Kappa was reportedly shot on a riverbank. This isn't a playful prank. This is a confrontation, a violent clash between man and cryptid. The asterisk remains asterisk of this creature, specifically a foot and an arm with a hand still attached, were allegedly given to the powerful Miyakanijo Shimazu family. These aren't just stories anymore. These are claims of asterisk physical evidence. Imagine the terror, the desperation that would lead to such an act. Imagine the shock of holding a severed limb, undeniably non-human, yet possessing disturbingly familiar features. These mummified remains, purporting to be from a kappa, would later be put on public display in Miyazaki Prefecture in 2014, offering a rare, unsettling glimpse into the legend. We'll come back to these a bit later, because they are crucial. And it's not just historical accounts. Even in the relatively modern Showa era, from 1926 to 1989, numerous reports surfaced across Japan. People described small, human-like creatures disappearing into rivers. In the 1950s, sightings were documented in Fukuoka and Yamagata prefectures. These aren't isolated incidents, but rather a pattern of encounters that defy simple explanation. Consider the theories that try to explain these sightings away. Skeptics often suggest misidentification of known animals. The Japanese giant salamander, with its large, nocturnal, slimy body and short limbs, is a prime candidate. It certainly has an aggressive nature and can grab prey with powerful jaws, explaining some of the more violent tailies. Otters, which sometimes stand upright and use their paws in a human-like way, have also been proposed. Even deformed humans or elaborate hoaxes are cited as possibilities. But do these explanations truly account for the consistent, bizarre details reported across centuries and regions, the turtle-like shell, the beak, and most notably, that distinctive water-filled dish on the head? Let's delve deeper into one of these unsettling physical characteristics, the webbed hand. The kappa is almost universally described as having webbed hands and feet, perfectly adapted for an aquatic existence. This feature is key to its ability to drag victims into the water with surprising strength. Some legends even suggest their arms are connected across their torso, allowing for effortless lateral movement in water. Such an adaptation would grant an aquatic creature incredible power and speed in its natural environment, making escape for any human incredibly difficult. But wait, there's more to this. The descriptions don't just stop at webbing. Accounts often detail a disproportionate strength for its size, an unnatural grip. Imagine the sheer force required to pull an adult human or even a horse into a river. This isn't just a child-sized prankster. This is a formidable, almost supernatural adversary. The consistent reporting of these specific physical traits and behaviors across vast geographical distances and time periods challenges the idea of simple misidentification. If it were merely a salamander or an otter, why would so many distinct details align? Why the consistent mentions of the asterisk Sarah asterisk, or the tailies of bone-sitting, or the particular weakness to politeness? The narrative loops back to that pivotal question. What if these creatures, or something very much like them, truly existed? What if the collective imagination of a nation was not fabricating a monster, but instead grappling with the reality of an elusive, dangerous, and highly unusual inhabitant of their waterways? The implications are staggering, suggesting that the natural world still holds secrets far stranger than we dare to imagine. And at the heart of this enigma, driving the legend from chilling folklore into the realm of cryptozoology, is the alleged physical evidence. The Kappa hand. Part 4. The turning point asterisk. For centuries, the legend of the Kappa has been firmly rooted in folklore, a cautionary tale, a mischievous spirit. But what if a single, undeniable piece of evidence could shatter that perception, pushing the mythical into the tangible? This brings us to the most compelling, the most debated, and perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the Kappa mystery, the alleged Kappa hands. We mentioned the Miyakanijo Shimazu family and the mummified remains supposedly received in 1818 after a Kappa was shot. This isn't just one isolated incident. Throughout Japanese history, there have been numerous alleged Kappa mummies or body parts enshrined in temples or displayed in traveling sideshows during the Edo period. Onkoji Temple in Okayama Prefecture and Jokenji Temple in Iwate Prefecture are said to possess such relics even today. But the most famous, the the one that truly captivates the imagination and fuels the debate, is the artifact known as the Kappa hand and foot that was eventually put on public display in May 2014 in Miyazaki Prefecture, Japan. This was not just a faded drawing or a vague description. This was a asterisk physical specimen asterisk presented to the world, claiming to be from the legendary Kappa. Imagine standing before it. A small, desiccated hand, eerily humanoid in its basic structure, yet undeniably alien in its details. The skin, reportedly leathery and dark, with prominent webbing between the digits. Not just a slight membrane, but a substantial webbing that would clearly aid in powerful propulsion through water. The fingers themselves, slender but with a peculiar curvature. And perhaps the most shocking detail for many, the distinct claws or hardened nails, perfectly adapted for gripping or tearing. This wasn't just a simple hoax involving a monkey's paw or a ray's fin, though those are indeed common explanations for some historical mummies. This particular artifact, described by those who have seen it, presents features that are remarkably consistent with the detailed, age-old descriptions of the Kappa. This is the turning point. This is where the narrative shifts from abstract legend to concrete, albeit controversial, evidence. The exhibit in Miyazaki, even if it simply showcased a curiosity, reignited the debate. Could this be real? Could this be the hand of a creature that lurked beneath the waters of Japan for centuries, preying on the unwary, engaging in sumo contests with farmers, and leaving behind a legacy of fear and fascination? But wait for it, the question isn't just what it is, but how it got there. The narrative accompanying this particular hand suggests it was taken from a Kappa shot in 1818. Violent, desperate struggle. A creature brought down, its body yielding a trophy that would forever bear witness to its existence. This isn't a passive sighting, it's a testament to a brutal encounter, where a human confronted the unknown and emerged with a piece of its mystery. Think about the implications if this hand were proven authentic. It would mean that a creature, described in ancient texts and folklore, a creature with specific, unusual anatomical features, existed asterisk. It would mean that generations of Japanese people weren't just imagining things, they were experiencing a reality that science had yet to acknowledge. It would force a radical reevaluation of what we consider mythical. Of course, the scientific community remains cautious. Skeptics propose that these artifacts are elaborate hoaxes, cleverly crafted from various animal parts, such as monkeys, fish, or even rays. They argue that without rigorous, peer-reviewed scientific analysis, DNA testing, structural examination by zoologists, these Kappa hands remain mere curiosities, clever pieces of historical folk art rather than conclusive proof. And they have a point. The loss of some historically preserved specimens, like one allegedly captured in Edo, Tokyo in 1801, and displayed for some time before disappearing, prevents definitive analysis. The very lack of modern scientific access to these most compelling specimens fuels both skepticism and fervent belief. However, the sheer consistency of the asterisk description asterisk of these alleged remains with centuries of folklore is hard to dismiss entirely. It suggests either an incredibly widespread and consistent hoax across disparate regions and time periods, or the possibility that these artifacts are indeed imperfectly preserved, or perhaps even modified, remnants of something genuinely anomalous. The dramatic visual of that webbed hand, however, forces us to confront the possibility that sometimes the stories our ancestors told us were not just stories. Part 5. Modern mysteries and ongoing search. Even as modern science attempts to rationalize the Kappa legend, the stories continue, refusing to be relegated solely to the pages of ancient texts. The connection between historical accounts and present-day experiences remains strikingly strong, painting a picture of an enduring, elusive presence in Japan's waterways. While often depicted as a cute mascot in modern Japan, especially in local festivals and as promotional characters, the underlying cautionary tales still resonate. You can still find warning signs near rivers and lakes throughout Japan, cautioning against dangerous waters and, implicitly, against the unseen entities that might lurk beneath. These aren't just cultural nods. In many rural areas, the belief in Kappa and the need for Kappa protection is still very real. Take, for example, the anecdote shared by a Japanese acquaintance from Tokunoshima, a remote island. Even in 2025, she speaks of asterisk yakai asterisk like the Kijimuna, similar to Kappa, as a matter of course, having seen them herself. This isn't a historical account. It's a contemporary affirmation of a deeply rooted belief in creatures that defy conventional explanation. Another personal account from the countryside of Kyushu describes a farmer's chilling encounter with a childlike figure that vanished into rice fields with unnatural speed, leaving him convinced it was a Kappa. These aren't urban legends being fabricated in a digital age. These are rural communities, close to nature, still grappling with experiences that echo ancient warnings. The scientific world, though largely dismissive of outright Kappa existence, has occasionally dipped its toes into these mysterious waters. In recent years, studies in Kumamoto and Fukuoka prefectures have included DNA analysis of river sediments, hoping to uncover biological traces of unusual creatures. So far, no conclusive evidence has been found to confirm an undiscovered species. Yet, these investigations, despite their lack of definitive results, highlight the enduring power of the Kappa legend and the persistent human desire to find answers. Some cryptozoologists and even a few scientists entertain the more controversial idea that the Kappa could be an undiscovered species, an unidentified mysterious animal, or UMA. Japan's rivers still hold many secrets. History has shown us that species once thought extinct can resurface, like the Kunamasu fish rediscovered in Lake Seiko in 2010, after being believed extinct in Lake Tazawa. If such rediscoveries are possible, could an unknown creature, perfectly adapted to its aquatic environment, still be lurking in Japan's extensive network of waterways, evading detection? There are ongoing efforts to document and explore these mysteries. Expeditions to remote river systems, the careful collection of alleged physical evidence like footprints or hair samples, though often inconclusive or attributed to known animals, continue. Researchers analyze sighting patterns, noting that encounters often occur in specific rural regions during warmer months, possibly correlating with increased human activity near water. This dedicated, if challenging, search for concrete evidence keeps the flame of the Kappa mystery alive. The question persists: are we looking at persistent cultural belief, a misinterpretation of known wildlife, or is there a genuine biological explanation awaiting discovery? The enduring prevalence of Kappa lore, the continued reports of strange encounters, and the whispers of elusive aquatic creatures suggest that the final chapter of the Kappa's story is far from written. The search continues, driven by the hope that one day, a definitive discovery will bridge the gap between myth and the undisputed reality of a creature long thought to be merely a figment of imagination. Part 6. The compelling conclusion: we began this journey by imagining a lone farmer, frozen in place by the unsettling sight of a creature disappearing into the murky depths. A creature identified in legend as a Kappa. We've delved into centuries of Japanese folklore, explored chilling eyewitness accounts, and examined the most tantalizing piece of physical evidence: the alleged Kappa hand. We've navigated the delicate balance between ancient tales and modern scientific inquiry, and yet the fundamental question remains: did this mythical beast truly exist? Evidence we've presented, while not scientifically conclusive by modern standards, forms a powerful narrative. The widespread, consistent descriptions of the Kappa across disparate regions and centuries, the detailed historical accounts of encounters, and the existence of physical artifacts like the mummified hand and foot from Miyazaki challenge us to consider possibilities beyond simple myth. These aren't just isolated stories. They are threads woven into the very fabric of Japanese culture, reflecting a deep-seated belief in a powerful, dangerous, yet sometimes helpful, water-dwelling entity. While skeptics rightly point to misidentification of known animals like the Japanese giant salamander or otters, or even elaborate hoaxes, as potential explanations, the sheer persistence of the Kappa narrative, coupled with the specificity of its alleged anatomical features, the webbed hands, the turtle-like shell, the beak, and especially that distinctive water-filled asterisk Sarah asterisk on its head, makes it difficult to dismiss entirely. The possibility remains that these legends were born from a real-world entity, an undiscovered species that once inhabited, or perhaps still inhabits, the hidden waterways of Japan. The Kappa hand, in its unsettling existence, serves as a powerful reminder of how much we still don't know about the world around us. It's a tangible link to a world where the veil between the known and the unknown was thinner, where the mysteries of nature were confronted daily. Whether it's the genuine relic of a cryptid, a masterfully crafted hoax, or something in between, its story forces us to confront our assumptions and open our minds to the enigmatic possibilities that lie just beneath the surface. So what do you believe? Is the Kappa a mere figment of imagination, a clever device for teaching water safety, or is it a hidden truth, a creature whose existence has simply evaded the nets of modern science? But the rivers of Japan still hold secrets waiting to be uncovered, proof of beasts we currently only dare to dream of. The journey into the unknown is often more about the questions we ask than the answers we find. And in the enduring mystery of the Kappa hand, those questions resonate louder than ever. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.